Have you ever asked yourself why you feel drained after scrolling through other people's lives? Why your confidence seems to shrink when you measure your progress against theirs? It is because comparison is a thief, and every time you let it in, it steals a piece of your energy, your focus, and your self-belief. You were not born to live as a reflection of someone else's journey. You were born to walk your own path, to build your own vision, to rise at your own pace. Yet so often, without even realizing it, you hand over your power by looking at what someone else has and convincing yourself you are behind. But you are not behind. You are simply on a different road. Your mind has been trained to see lack instead of potential. Psychology proves that when we compare, our brains highlight what we do not have rather than what we already hold within us. That is why you feel small when you watch someone else succeed. But here is the truth. Their success has nothing to do with your worth. Their timeline has nothing to do with your purpose. Just like two seeds planted in the same soil bloom in different seasons, your life is meant to unfold on its own schedule. No amount of watching, envying, or doubting will speed up your growth. It only delays it. Every second you spend staring at someone else's progress is a second stolen from your own. Think about that. Every moment of comparison is time you will never get back. Time you could have invested in your own goals, your own learning, your own dreams. When you waste your energy on comparison, you are building their future instead of yours. You feed their light while dimming your own. And yet, the person you are meant to compete with is not out there. It is the reflection you see in the mirror. The only question that matters is this: am I stronger than I was yesterday? When you shift your focus from others to yourself, everything changes. You stop giving control of your emotions to strangers who are not responsible for your destiny. You stop waiting for validation from people who will never live your life. You stop living as a shadow and begin stepping into your own light. This is not about ignoring others. It is about remembering that their journey is not your assignment. Your only mission is to grow into the person you were created to be. And here lies the reward. The moment you stop comparing, you reclaim freedom. You release yourself from the invisible chains of judgment and insecurity. You open up space in your heart for confidence, clarity, and peace. You discover energy you never knew you had because it was never gone. It was only misdirected. Imagine waking up each day without the weight of someone else's timeline pressing against your chest. Imagine the relief of knowing you are enough, exactly where you are, while still striving to become better. That is the life that begins when you decide to focus on yourself, not others. Stay with this message. Stay until the end, because what you are about to hear is not just motivation. It is the key to unlocking the strongest, clearest, and most powerful version of you. When you stop chasing what others are doing, you create space to ask yourself a deeper question: what truly matters to me? This is where the shift begins, because clarity is power. Without it, you are pulled in 1,000 directions, chasing goals that were never yours, living by standards that were never meant for you. But with clarity, you build an inner compass that guides every choice, every step, every action. This compass does not come from applause, likes, or approval. It comes from the quiet, honest voice within you that knows who you want to be and what kind of life you want to create. Psychologists call this intrinsic motivation, the fire that burns from within rather than the spark borrowed from outside. Studies prove that people who live by inner goals are stronger, more fulfilled, and more resilient. They are not swayed by trends or shaken by the success of others. They rise each morning fueled not by pressure to impress, but by the hunger to grow. This is the strength you unlock when you focus on yourself. Your energy stops scattering across comparisons and begins concentrating into progress. Ask yourself right now, what do I want my life to stand for? What values do I want to embody? What kind of person do I want to become when nobody is watching? These questions are not abstract. They are anchors. They keep you steady when the world is noisy, when distractions scream for your attention, when doubts try to drag you off course. Without an inner compass, you will always be at the mercy of comparison, but with it, you hold direction no matter what others are doing. When you live by your inner compass, setbacks stop defining you. Opinions stop controlling you. The highs and lows of other people's journeys no longer dictate your worth. Instead, you move with purpose. You begin to measure your days not by how you look compared to someone else, but by whether or not you honored your own vision. That shift changes everything. It creates freedom. It creates stability. It creates a sense of self-respect that cannot be shaken. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and choosing actions not because they look good on the outside, but because they feel right on the inside. Imagine living a life where every step you take aligns with the person you want to become. That alignment is power. It gives you peace even when life is uncertain. It gives you strength even when others doubt you. It gives you confidence that cannot be taken away because it does not depend on anyone else. This is what it means to focus on yourself, to stop measuring by borrowed standards and start building from your own, to stop chasing someone else's version of success and start defining success on your own terms. The moment you turn inward and honor your compass, you stop being lost in the noise. You start rising above it. You step into clarity, and from clarity, you find unstoppable focus. And once you have that, there is no comparison in the world that can break you. Clarity is not enough if your energy is scattered. Every thought, every choice, every action requires fuel, and your attention is that fuel. But most people spend it carelessly, pouring it into distractions, comparisons, and endless noise until nothing is left for their own growth. That is why so many feel drained without doing anything meaningful. It is not because they lack strength, but because their energy leaks away into places that do not serve them. Your attention is the most valuable currency you own. Whatever you give it to grows stronger in your life. If you feed it into jealousy, envy expands. If you feed it into worry, fear expands. If you feed it into your own goals, progress expands. Neuroscience proves that the brain is shaped by what it repeatedly focuses on. This means that your future is being built right now by what you allow to occupy your mind. Every moment of distraction is a vote for stagnation. Every moment of focused effort is a vote for transformation. Think about the hours lost to scrolling through other people's achievements, watching their highlights, comparing your journey to their curated image. None of that builds you. None of that feeds your purpose. It only drains your spirit and delays your progress. But the second you redirect that same energy back into yourself, you begin to rise. Small actions that once felt impossible suddenly become achievable. What once felt like failure starts turning into growth. Momentum builds because your focus is no longer divided. Distractions are seductive because they give quick rewards. A glance at someone else's success can spark excitement, but it quickly turns into doubt. A moment of scrolling gives entertainment, but it leaves emptiness behind. These are illusions of progress, small hits of stimulation that disguise the fact that nothing in your life is moving forward. Real progress is slower, quieter, but infinitely more powerful. It comes from directing all your energy into your own vision, refusing to waste it on comparisons that add no value. When you starve distractions, you strengthen discipline. When you reclaim your attention, you reclaim your future. Imagine how much power you would unlock if every ounce of energy you once wasted on others was redirected toward your own growth. Imagine the skills you could build, the confidence you could develop, the transformation you could create. The energy is already inside you. It is not missing. It is not gone. It is only being spent on the wrong things. You have to choose where your fuel goes. You can continue feeding the endless cycle of comparison, or you can invest in yourself and build the life you know you deserve. The choice is simple, but not easy. It requires awareness. It requires strength. It requires the courage to break free from distractions and commit fully to your own path. Every time you resist the pull of comparison, you are not just saving energy, you are multiplying it. You are taking back control of your mind, your time, and your destiny. And as you do, you will realize that focus is not about doing more. It is about doing less of what weakens you and more of what builds you. This is how you transform scattered energy into unstoppable momentum. This is how you rise by focusing entirely on yourself. Focus without structure will eventually collapse. Intention without action fades into frustration. This is why discipline is the foundation of every transformation. Discipline is not about punishment, and it is not about restriction. It is about respect. Respect for your own potential. Respect for the future you are building. Respect for the vision you claim to believe in. Without discipline, dreams stay trapped in your mind. With it, those same dreams begin to take shape in reality. Discipline is choosing progress over comfort, over and over again. It is waking up with resistance pulling you back and still moving forward. It is refusing to let moods decide your actions. It is building habits so strong that even when motivation disappears, momentum carries you. Science shows that habits define identity. Every small, disciplined choice you make becomes evidence of who you are becoming. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce the belief that you are capable, consistent, and worthy of success. This builds self-trust, and self-trust is the root of confidence. When you let comparison control you, you live by someone else's standards. But when you build discipline, you live by your own. You no longer chase motivation in the external world because you have already built a system within yourself. A disciplined mind does not collapse at the first sign of difficulty. It does not quit when things get uncomfortable. It stays steady, anchored by the vision that matters most. And with each act of discipline, the noise of distraction grows weaker. Think of the moments when you chose excuses instead of action. How did you feel afterward? Empty, guilty, frustrated. Now think of the times when you pushed through resistance and did the work anyway. How did you feel then? Strong, proud, alive. That is the difference discipline creates. One choice leads to regret, the other leads to growth. And when you repeat that second choice enough times, it becomes who you are. You no longer debate with yourself about what must be done. You simply do it. Discipline may feel heavy in the moment, but its weight builds strength. Comfort feels light, but it leaves you weak. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you silently vote against your own future. Every time you choose discipline, you cast a vote for the person you are becoming. Those votes accumulate. They stack day after day until one day you look back and realize you have built something unshakable. Others may waste time comparing, doubting, or waiting. But discipline allows you to move while they stand still. It allows you to build brick by brick while others are distracted by illusions. This is the advantage of focusing on yourself. You create consistency. You create structure. You create momentum that cannot be stopped because it does not depend on what others think or what others do. The truth is simple. Without discipline, focus fades. With discipline, focus compounds. And when focus compounds, transformation becomes inevitable. This is how you turn intentions into results, vision into reality, and potential into power. This is how you take control of your life and prove to yourself every single day that you are capable of more than you once believed. Discipline builds strength, but life will still test you. No matter how focused you are, challenges will come. You will face rejection, failure, and doubt. And in those moments, comparison feels the strongest. It whispers that others have it easier, that their path is smoother, that you are somehow less. But this is the lie that holds people back. Pain is not a signal to compare. Pain is a signal to grow. Every struggle you face carries within it the potential to sharpen you. Research on resilience shows that those who frame setbacks as opportunities develop greater strength than those who run from them. The difference is in perspective. One person sees difficulty and asks, "Why me?" The other sees difficulty and asks, "What is this teaching me?" That single shift in mindset is what separates those who crumble from those who rise. Pain is not your enemy, it is your trainer. It demands that you dig deeper, that you uncover strength you did not know you had, that you unlock layers of resilience hidden beneath the surface. When you focus on others in your moments of pain, you weaken yourself further. You take the energy meant for healing and spend it envying those who look like they are ahead. But appearances are deceiving. Everyone carries battles you cannot see. Everyone bleeds somewhere, no matter how perfect they appear. The only battle that matters is the one inside of you, the battle to transform your struggle into strength. Pain can be fuel. It can push you into places comfort never will. It can reveal how much you are willing to fight for the life you want. Instead of shrinking in the face of hardship, use it. Let it light the fire inside you. Let it remind you that growth is born in discomfort, that power is carved in the moments when you feel like breaking, but choose to rise instead. The world's strongest people are not those who avoided pain. They are those who faced it and turned it into purpose. Every setback you encounter is shaping you. Every challenge is building a layer of resilience. Every wound is creating wisdom. When you stop focusing on how easy someone else's life looks and start focusing on how you can grow through your own storms, you turn pain into power. This is how struggle transforms into strength. This is how adversity molds character. This is how difficulty becomes destiny. The reward is not just survival. The reward is transformation. The person you become on the other side of pain is stronger, wiser, and more unshakable than the one who entered it. And when you learn to see pain as progress, you stop fearing it. You stop resenting it. You start embracing it as part of your evolution. The truth is, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Suffering comes from comparison, from resistance, from believing that hardship means you are behind. Growth comes from accepting pain as a teacher, as a guide, as a necessary step on the path to your greatest self. And when you shift your focus inward, when you stop wasting energy on what others have, you realize that your pain is not holding you back. It is preparing you. It is shaping the exact strength you will need for the future you are building. Pain teaches you to rise, but the direction you rise toward depends on how you define success. Too often, people adopt definitions that were never their own. They chase the images society feeds them: money, status, possessions, appearances, believing these symbols will deliver happiness. But research proves that external rewards bring only short bursts of satisfaction before emptiness returns. The constant chase leaves people exhausted, climbing ladders that lean against the wrong walls. Real success is not borrowed. Real success is personal. It is not about how impressive your life looks to others. It is about how aligned your life feels to you. Alignment is the key. When what you do reflects who you are, every day becomes meaningful. It no longer matters whether your version of success matches the world's expectations, because the world does not live your life. You do. Success might mean freedom. It might mean peace. It might mean health, mastery, or contribution. Whatever it is, it must be defined by you, not imposed upon you. When you allow others to define success for you, you become a prisoner to comparison. You measure yourself against standards that were never designed for your soul. That is why people can appear successful on the outside but feel empty within. They achieve someone else's dream while abandoning their own. The cost of living by borrowed definitions is a life that looks full but feels hollow. But when you define success on your own terms, you reclaim control. You no longer need to prove yourself to anyone. You no longer need to fit into boxes that limit you. You rise above the noise with clarity, knowing that your path is unique and valid. Defining success for yourself is an act of courage because it means rejecting the illusion that everyone must walk the same path. It means accepting that your goals may not impress the crowd, and that is perfectly fine. What matters is that they fulfill you. The moment you stop chasing approval and start honoring your own definition, you step into freedom. You no longer feel the constant pressure of measuring up because there is nothing to measure against. There is only progress on your own road. This is the shift that separates those who live authentically from those who remain trapped. One is guided by clarity, the other by comparison. One builds a life of fulfillment, the other a life of performance. And the difference between the two is not luck, it is choice. The choice to stop asking, "What will they think?" and start asking, "What do I truly want?" When you define success personally, every step forward carries meaning. Even the small victories matter because they align with your vision. Even the struggles feel worth it because they are tied to something real. You stop waiting for the world to validate you. You begin to validate yourself. The truth is, success that is not defined by you will never satisfy you. But success that is shaped by your values, your priorities, and your vision becomes unshakable. It gives you peace instead of pressure. It gives you fulfillment instead of emptiness. And once you taste that kind of success, comparison loses all power over you. You realize you were never meant to follow someone else's path. You were meant to create your own. Defining success on your own terms brings freedom, but freedom often comes with loneliness. When you choose a path that is true to you, not everyone will understand. Some will doubt your decisions. Some will criticize your direction. Some will distance themselves because your growth makes them uncomfortable. This is where most people retreat. They trade authenticity for acceptance. They trade courage for comfort. But if you want to rise, you must learn the strength of walking alone. Loneliness is not a weakness. It is a training ground. It is in the silence, away from applause, where true transformation begins. Studies on human behavior reveal that people fear rejection even more than failure, and this fear chains them to conformity. But the reality is that greatness cannot be built in constant company. It requires solitude. It requires focus. It requires the willingness to move forward even when no one is cheering you on. Walking alone demands courage because it strips away the illusions of validation. You no longer have the comfort of external approval to fuel your actions. All that remains is your vision, your discipline, your commitment. But in that place, you discover something most people never find. independence, the ability to stand strong without needing permission, the ability to keep moving forward even when the road feels empty. That independence is power. It is the foundation of true confidence because it proves that your strength does not depend on anyone else. When you accept the courage to walk alone, you separate yourself from the ordinary. Most people choose the crowd because it feels safer, but safety is not growth, safety is stagnation. The crowd will keep you average, but solitude will make you exceptional. Alone is where you refine your vision. Alone is where you strengthen your character. Alone is where you build resilience so deep that when the world finally notices you, no amount of noise can shake you. Every great transformation requires a season of isolation, not because you are meant to be cut off forever, but because solitude allows you to build the foundation no one else can give you. While others are busy chasing attention, you are building strength in silence. While others seek validation, you are shaping independence, and when the time comes to step forward, you are not fragile. You are unshakable. Do not fear the silence. Use it. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it teach you that your worth is not tied to who accepts you, but to who you become when no one is watching. The courage to walk alone today becomes the strength to lead tomorrow, and while others are still waiting for approval, you will already be moving, already building, already rising. The truth is, the road to becoming your best self will not always be crowded. At times, it will be narrow and quiet. But if you have the courage to stay the course, that same road will lead you to places few ever reach. Walking alone is not the end. It is the beginning of independence, the birthplace of greatness, and the proof that your focus belongs only to yourself. The strength to walk alone is what prepares you to rise into the fullest version of yourself. Because in the end, this journey is not about becoming perfect, and it is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming the truest, most powerful expression of who you were meant to be. Focusing on yourself is not selfish. It is the foundation of growth. When you build yourself, you build the capacity to contribute. When you strengthen yourself, you expand the ability to lift others. The world does not need more copies. It needs individuals who are alive in their originality, who refuse to dim their light by living in comparison. Psychology calls this self-actualization, the state where you fully express your potential. But it is not reached by accident. It is reached by commitment. Every decision to stay focused, every act of discipline, every rejection of distraction moves you closer. You are shaping yourself through each choice, even in ways you cannot see right now. Every day you decide to direct your energy inward. You take another step toward the highest version of you. That version is not built overnight. It is built through consistent action, through resilience in struggle, through clarity in defining what matters most. It is built when you stop looking outward for permission and start looking inward for direction. It is built when you realize you are not in competition with anyone. You are not running someone else's race. You are not meant to keep their pace. You are creating your own lane, at your own rhythm, for your own purpose. This is where freedom begins, the freedom of knowing you no longer have to measure yourself by someone else's timeline. The freedom of knowing you no longer have to bend to their definition of success. The freedom of realizing that your worth was never in question. It was only hidden under layers of doubt and distraction. When you choose to focus on yourself, you strip those layers away and reveal the strength that has been waiting inside you all along. Becoming the best version of yourself is not about reaching some final destination. It is about living in alignment every day. It is about showing up with authenticity, with discipline, with courage. It is about becoming someone you can trust, someone you can respect, someone you can be proud of when you look in the mirror. That is the reward of this journey, not just external achievements, but internal transformation. Every distraction you reject is proof of your focus. Every discipline you practice is evidence of your strength. Every challenge you overcome is a brick laid in the foundation of your future. Piece by piece, you are constructing a life that reflects your highest potential. And when you step into that version of yourself, life begins to respond. Opportunities appear, connections deepen, confidence grows. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. The truth is, nothing outside of you can give you lasting fulfillment. That fulfillment comes when you choose to grow into the person you were created to be, not by comparing, not by competing, but by committing to the path of your own becoming. Focus on yourself, build yourself, and you will discover a strength, a freedom, and a fulfillment that no one can take away. The best version of yourself is not built through comparison, but through creation. Every time you choose to focus inward, you choose creation over imitation. You choose to build instead of borrow. You choose to rise instead of wait. And in that choice lies the power to transform your entire life. You do not need to match anyone's pace. You do not need to live up to anyone's expectations. You only need to take ownership of your growth, your vision, your future. Your journey is not about being flawless. It is about being authentic. Authenticity is where true strength lives. It is not pretending to have everything figured out. It is choosing to show up every day, committed to progress, committed to growth, committed to becoming stronger than you were yesterday. The world may try to pull you into distractions, into comparison, into conformity, but you do not have to follow. You have the power to stay rooted in your purpose, no matter what surrounds you. Every distraction rejected is a declaration that your vision matters. Every act of discipline is proof that you are willing to pay the price for your future. Every moment of pain endured with resilience is evidence that you are stronger than circumstances. And every step toward your own definition of success is a reminder that you are not here to live someone else's life. You are here to fully live your own. This path requires courage, but it also gives you freedom. The freedom of knowing that your worth is not determined by comparison. The freedom of knowing that your pace is not dictated by anyone else's timeline. The freedom of knowing that the world does not need another copy of someone else's success. It needs the full power of your original. You are not here to blend in. You are here to stand out by being yourself fully. The more you focus inward, the more you uncover your own potential. That potential grows as you nurture it with focus, with effort, with belief. Every choice compounds. Every disciplined action builds momentum. And as momentum grows, you begin to experience a transformation that no one can deny. You no longer ask whether you are capable. You prove it through action.